Hey Tubes, Jonathan's wrong here, Truth and Budget. How we all doing? Another beautiful, nearly summer day in the 50s. Overcast, misty. Anyway, excuse me. I'm sorry if my last few videos have been off-putting for some people, but honestly, it's the conclusion I drew, be it from the first 3 commandments, be it from, I am and there's no one like me, and the fact that by definition the Messiah is a human. I think a lot of people forgot about that. The Messiah by definition is not God. Also, a lot of the book of Isaiah covers a lot about God in the Old Testament. But anyway, something y'all can look into for yourself. But like I said, I don't want to really argue about that. But I haven't really seen anything to the contrary scripturally, other than people saying, I feel it's like this, and I feel it's like that, and I feel that I read that it is otherwise. Even the disciples were raising the dead. They all had the power of the word. But anyway, moving on. Next topic. So listen to this. Where I'm working right now, at a car wash, I have to take the name, phone number, and license plate and the time that I wash their car for every single customer I do. Isn't that nuts? Now, the excuse that they're giving us is point of origin or point of contact or something? I forget. The point of contact sounds like a combat thing. But anyway, it's supposed to be if for some reason I get sick, which is dumb, because I don't, that then they can go through every single customer I've had in the past month and then call, thousands of people, I guess. Because, that is all, a good use of time and resources. Just think about that for a second. The amount, it's just ludicrous. You could not actually do it in practice, and sometimes, and I tell people too, you don't have to, they can't legally enforce it. It's unconstitutional. They can't, you don't have to give me any information at all. I'm going to take your license plate so I don't get fired. But, they legally do not have to give me any information. But, people are. I'll run through it. I'll specifically say that they can't constitutionally make you do this, and they can't legally enforce it, and you don't have to give me your name and number, and then they still do. Just a moment, I'm at the store. Hi! So yeah, totally forgot what I was talking about. But anyway, oh yeah, how I have to take down the information of every single customer. I was actually, I've been telling about it, talking to people about it, because it's absolutely insane. Because, like I said, logistically, you can't, there would just be no way. They'd have to go through, is there an automated call system? Are they already putting all this information in? What's the point? Why? So there's people taking in from, because I'm just one person. Imagine, tens of thousands plus. They have all, why? It's so stupid. No one actually thinks about anything. They just accept stuff. And if if the information is given to them from, a person of authority, they just accept it. Oh, this is what we're doing now. Everyone, no one likes it, but we got to do it. It's been, flu season ended friggin' 2 months ago. No one's sick. And it's ramping up. It's getting worse. We're getting, the masks thing is now mandatory everywhere. We have to give away all of our personal information, anytime we do anything. It's nuts. It's absolute bananas town, and everyone's down with it. You know, not enough people are like, nah, you know? I mean, I have a pretty decent control group of people that are, you know, down with the program, and you know, down with the crow, and people that aren't, you know. Except some of those people just, you know, can't speak English, so I'm not going to bother to try to talk to them about how I need their name and phone number and stuff when they can't speak English. That would just be very waste of time. Waste of time on both parties' parts. At the same time, if you're living in a country, you should learn to speak the language of the country you're living in. Infinitely irritates me. Seriously, where else in the world can you move there and like not speak the language and like it's fine? Yeah, okay. Please. Anyway, unless you're Muslim, then you can move anywhere and shit in the streets and, you know, rape all the women and it's fine. It's your cultural heritage to do so, I guess. But anyway, moving on. So yeah, they're just taking away all our rights and everyone's down with it. No one cares, and there's no epidemic. The only place the epidemic exists is on the television. It's not real. No one's sick. We got people driving around with face masks on. They're alone in their car with a face mask on. It's insane. You're sitting inside of a car, breathing in your own exhaust. With the just put a plastic bag over your head. Gosh. Let's get it over with, man. But not really. Don't want anyone to kill themselves. Putting a plastic bag over your head will kill you if you keep it there. I feel like I might have to say that nowadays, but I don't know. I don't know who even am I talking to most of the time. I only get about 30-something views. Probably less now because I pissed off all the Christians. But 14.4, baby. How many bullshit, full of shit, Christians that don't actually read the Bible do you know? That have I guess accepted Jesus for what they think Jesus is. There's millions of those. Only 14.4 getting in. 14,400. So think about that. Hello seagulls. Just a sec, I'm getting coffee. Totally off topic because I know I'm just coming out of a pause, but if you have to do mental gymnastics to make something fit into like how you want it to work, then it's just you reaching, and I'm guilty of it too. We have to look at things logically and look at the information that we have provided, because once you start getting into conjecture, even if it's something that might be good, or that we think might be good, there's just no point. It's still false. It might increase your faith or bring you hope, but it isn't real. So then, like, what good is it? I just kept thinking about how Jesus says, you do not know me. I feel like a lot of people don't know him. Just a sec. It's like I feel that we have to make a personal connection with him, and not him as how we imagine him. And I think that's what a lot of that means. He says I'll you'll say this and I'll say that I never knew you. People who cast out demons in his name even. And it's just a weird thought, because obviously not everyone's going to make it, and it's sad. But I think a lot of us just aren't, even myself included, just aren't looking hard enough. Even if it's extremely hard to read, like I said, there's tons of contradictions within the New Testament, but that's because that's because Jesus is a man. He's not perfect like God is perfect. He makes mistakes. He'll contradict himself. He'll trip over a rock. Hold on a second. Oi! So but that doesn't, people, like, I say that and people get really hurt, like I'm saying Jesus isn't special. He's the Son of Man. He's extremely special. He's just not also God, because that doesn't make sense. And the more I read, there'll be lines like how what Jesus is doing is pleasing God. It specifically says pleasing God. So, it's, once again, if you take everything literally, other than the fact that the Messiah is a man, it just is what it is. He was, Word in the flesh, but he's not the Word, because his disciples also had the power of the Word. And while he was on the cross, he cried out to God, "Father, why have you forsaken me?" Because God can't go to hell. He had to send Jesus as Jesus. And Jesus had to suffer it without the protection of the Word. And I think the shock of the separation is why Jesus cried out, because he had just been so comfortable. I mean, think about the story when it's I forget where they're going, but they're in a ship and they're sailing. There's a storm, and everyone's all freaked out because the ship's gonna get destroyed. They're like, Jesus, we're gonna sink, and Jesus just saunters out. "Oh, ye of little faith," clears the storm. But he was sleeping, he was asleep. If they hadn't woken him up, he wouldn't have woken up until they were underwater. So it's just like, stuff like that. But anyway, blah blah blah. But yeah, it's it's literally almost summer, and it's in the 50s. No one cares about that, where everyone's okay with walking around with masks on, breathing their own exhaust, because that's healthy. It's healthy to breathe in your own exhaust, apparently. I mean, I can see if you're in a public place or whatever, but the people driving around with the masks on really pisses me off. It's really off-putting. You just look like such an idiot. Like, it's like I just want to slap them. Like, be like, take that dumb mask. You're alone in your car. Take that mask off, you psycho. You maniac. What are you doing? I don't know. But it's just the fact that everyone's going along with it is just it's just nuts. I don't get it. I don't understand why, like, I don't know. It's just a reoccurring theme. It's Nazi Germany all over again. They're just gonna start taking away more rights, and more rights, and more rights. Everyone's gonna be, at least it isn't me. At least we still get to eat. At least we still have television. At least I'm not the one getting locked up. And then they're gonna come for them. It's an old story. But, like, we're taking names and numbers and stuff, like, how are people okay with this? I mean, at the very least, I'm given a opportunity to preach to every single customer. I get to, except if they're old, dude, I don't even bother with it, or like I said, if they can't speak English, there's no point interacting with them. But it's like, I'm just taking the chance to tell everyone, like, yeah, this is People be, well, why? And I'll be like, yeah, exactly. Boiling the frog. Because like I said, think about all the names and numbers coming in, and think about how bad the government is at doing stuff. I mean, there shouldn't, why do we even do our own taxes? They already have all the information. They know if we're short. Yet we still have to do our own taxes. Do you understand how stupid that is? Do you understand? You have to do your own taxes, but they will know how much money you owe them regardless. But we have to physically do our taxes. We have to do it. But they already know how much. Do you get that? Do you get it? Do you get that we're jumping through hoops constantly? Do you understand that that when you're like, oh man, every time I have to do that, a little piece of me dies inside. Ha 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 ha. A little piece of you is dying inside. All right. It's called erosion. They are eroding away our will, our care. If you don't give a crap, you'll go along with whatever. And that's how a lot of people are. They just don't. They're just like you get fed up. You're like, whatever. Don't care anymore. I'll go along with it. Done fighting. It's very, very few people with the willpower to say no or get out of here. And I'm probably gonna lose my job, honestly, because I'm not going along with it. I mean, I'm doing it, but I'm not like, oh hey, it's for your safety. I'm like, yeah. So the state's cracking down on personal liberties, and they're asking me to take down your name and phone number, but you don't have to give it to me because they can't legally enforce it because it's unconstitutional. And then some 20-something-year-old dipshit gives me their name and number, full name. I'm not asking for the last name, but everyone gives it anyway. And it's just like, don't stop doing this. Don't do it. I'm disappointed every time I get a name and phone number off these people. I mean, even though I'm probably gonna lose my job over it. I already got yelled at. Doesn't matter that I'm actually good at my job, like what I do, and people tell me all the time. People call corporate, and to praise me. People stop before they go through, and they're like, "You're the best I've ever seen." So clearly, I'm good at my job because I want to be, because I like to be, because I like being good at things, and because why would anyone want to be bad at things? But so I always walk a fine line with the management. Because I don't like management. Because the only thing management's good at is making friends. They're frat boys. Management's frat boys. They're good at making buddies with other management, but they don't actually do any work. They don't know how to. Yet they tell you how to do your job. So for the most part, I don't need them. Unless something breaks and I need them to pay for it to be fixed or whatever, because it's their equipment. But other than the fact that I don't, I can only think of two bosses that I've ever had that were any good, and they were both meat guys. They were both butchers, because you can't really be a butcher and just sit in your office. You got stuff to do, and you have to know how to do it, and you got to work your way up, because it actually, you actually have to know what you're talking about. Not so much nowadays where they have all those recipe cards, but I was at Whole Foods for about 8 years, and people would get moved around. They'd be the manager of coffee, then they'd be the manager of prepared foods. Or then they go to seafood, or health and body or whatever. It's they would bounce around. And it's doesn't it's oh, this is my new team leader. They used to do coffee in Waltham, but now they're the fresh foods team leader here in Hingham. And it's what? Well, like, okay, I guess those apply, whatever. But you know, it's just like, for them, it's a job. You know, it's like their job is answering emails and like telling people what to do. But the people that they're telling what to do already know what to do, and all the emails are just masturbatory. I don't know. You know, I'd imagine you'd seen it. You know, you've had jobs, you've been out there, you've all had managers that didn't know what they were doing and what they were talking about and weren't any good at their jobs. A gas bubble. Come on, baby. Excuse me. But it's just like, cover your, here's a sign, cover your face, maintain 6 feet of distance, cover your face, cover your face. Why? Why? You know when you're a kid and you know, people get chicken pox and stuff. My parents tried to do that with me and it didn't work. I never got the pox. I didn't get chicken pox until I was like 26 or 27. It sucked. That's why I got the scar on my head. I was just about over it, and you know, didn't scratch any, didn't scar myself. Was so careful the whole time, and I had long hair at the time, and I did one of those, and I ripped off a scab. Now I have a huge divot in my forehead, right on the hairline. Sorry, I'm trying to like look up, which is then causing my forehead to wrinkle, so then you probably can't see it because I'm driving. But anyway, I have to look at the road and you have to see past my eyebrow, my brow bone. But anyway, gosh, folks, you know, I don't know. Don't know. You know, at this point with the channel, I spend more time like arguing with trolls than anything else. You know, you might be like, well, why do you bother with that? It's like, well, because I get to show them that either, you know, they're wrong and maybe they'll learn something, or call them out for being a shill. Right, a hired gun. Call them out for being a prostitute. Yeah, the sun's out. It's been bright. It's well, bright. The sun's been up. It's all in quotations. Since about 5, but finally we're getting some actual light. It's weird, man. Like the sun, like the sun wants to do what a summer does, which is, you know, early up, late down. But it's just cold and hazy. It's cold right now. like I kind of wish I had a hat on, but I'm not gonna rifle through my bag for one right now. Seen a lot of cops too. They're out in droves, looking for trubs. I don't know. Just, it's getting worse. No one cares, and there's no epidemic. I have another video too where I was discussing more thoughts on Jesus and stuff, and how I came to my how we reconciled, and how we're not arguing anymore, me and Jesus. I was basically having a hard time with the fact that a lot of the stuff he said and did was literally contradictory to himself. Like, it's not even like Old Testament, like, oh, I'm the new way, so things are different now. It's like, literally, he'd say, oh, love everyone as your brother, and do this and do that, and then he goes and he curses a fig tree and goes ballistic in a temple, flipping over tables, like, wait a minute, but it's like he's a man. He's the son of man. He's human. He's going to do what humans do. Humans get pissed off. Humans get snarky. You can't read the Bible and not say that Jesus is not snarky. He's definitely snarky. He's always like, "Oh, ye of little faith," and brushing people off for being silly little monkeys. He's not mean snarky, but he's definitely snarky. God isn't snarky. God's also direct. The Father always says, "Do this, don't do that. This pleases me. That's an abomination." He asks Jesus a question. He gives you several questions. Ask Jesus one question. He'll give you three. That's how it works. So it's a lot more to understand. A lot of it has to do with contemporary times. There's a lot of contemporary references, and also they were preaching to the Jews. They weren't preaching to the Gentiles or the Samaritans. So there's that also. But anyway, me and Jesus reconciled. He still and always was the Son of God. And the fact is God works in mysterious ways. We're never going to have the full picture on absolutely anything. It's just I personally think, and have read and have seen, and through the words that they spoke, that there's a separation. Because then the Holy Ghost was like presenting himself to John. It just doesn't make sense. The Holy Ghost comes down and says, "This is my son," and he pleases me. God doesn't have multiple personalities. That's pagan. That's a paganistic thing. The whole aspectual thing is a paganistic thing. I was just watching a short documentary on Carthage, and its religions, and the whole aspects of God thing that's straight out of Baal. There's Baal, and then there's aspects of Baal. Just a lot of that. God's giving birth to gods. It's all paganistic. Now, God birthing a man never happened, except when God made Adam. But that was different. But anyway, anywho, I'm almost at work. Like I said, for the time being, till they fire me, because I know they want to. Because I'm not that good at jumping to the whip. I never have been. It's not my heritage. You don't spend thousands of years as a warrior and then suddenly, become docile within 3 or 4 generations. At least I don't feel that way. But anyway, say what you can to people, preach what you can. If it comes up, tell people how you feel, how this is all nonsense. And, maybe enough people will, because I feel like a lot of people don't think there's an epidemic, but they're just going along with the program because they feel that they're supposed to, you know. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. It's weird, and everyone's going along with it. Anyway, love you guys so much. Have a beautiful day, and God bless you.